Good afternoon. I'll call the December 21st meeting of the Riverfront Authority to order. I have a couple items from the chairman. One, we finished the River Parade a couple weeks ago, and it was cold. I can tell you that, but I was really surprised how many people showed up with being so cold. The OU and Nebraska football game on, but it was really, there was a lot of people there, and I think that shows that people really are interested in it. And if we catch good weather like we do about every year or two or three, I think it's really a great event for the river. People seem to really enjoy it.
I can tell you that I don't think it was cold.
I know it. I didn't. You were sitting inside that cruiser, and I was out there on that police boat. Police boat. You ever thought about heating the police boats? Okay, I just thought I'd ask.
I will let you know, Chairman, we gave away the awards at council meeting this morning.
Yeah, I knew
that went very well. They had Snoopy and his airplane parked out front here, so
that was quite a float. That was pretty neat. If you noticed in your audit report later in the agenda that the Community Foundation, we as of October 31st had $456,000 in the foundation, and I was talking to Mike, and it looks like we'll add another $75,000 or $80,000 this year. So we've crossed over $500,000 now. I think that's pretty good. Haven't taken anything out of it. We're allowed to take 5% out, but at this point we've just been leaving it in there and letting it accumulate it. But at some point we may have some little project we want to do or something. But that's a pretty good event that we've raised over $500,000 in just those few years. Another item, if you will, I'm going to skip forward a little bit. Turn to your item 5B, and it has to do with the BKD report, the section, and look at page 11 on that particular item. And it deals with the authority of the Central Oklahoma Transportation and Parking Authority, commonly known as COTPA. I've been talking with Pat and Jim Couch for some time about trying to get a better handle on the river cruisers, and have decided that I'm going to form a river cruiser committee, subcommittee of the River Trust, and to really better organize and help the operations in. Right now it's under the responsibility of COPTA, which it will remain because COPTA obviously has responsibilities to the federal government as far as transportation dollars and those sort of things. Jim and Rick have met, I think, is that correct? Have met. And there'll be some action item coming before this trust probably in January or February fairly quickly that'll better delineate, because we don't want to break those ties, but we really want to take some of the operational and marketing obligations, I might say, from COPTA, or assist them to really see if we can get a better handle on getting those river cruisers doing better. So because of that, I have formed a committee, or I am forming a committee as of now, a subcommittee. It'll be chaired by Gary Mars. It will have Paul Dudman on it, and it'll have Chip Minty from Devon. So those three, and we'll have our first meeting on the 29th, which will be next week, and go over some items with Jeannie and Pat, and try just to get a better handle. And I think having Devon involved with their finances to the date, I think it's a good idea to get them involved, and they're very excited about it. So we'll do that. But so that committee is being formed, and then Mr. Couch will bring forward something in the next meeting or two that'll kind of memorialize this, so it'll be a little better understood. So is everybody okay with that? Understand? Thank you. At this time, we can approve the minutes for November 23rd, 2010.
Move approval.
We have a motion second. Anybody have any questions, corrections, additions? Please record your vote. That's approved unanimously. Well, yeah, got the right names up there, didn't we? Yeah, thank you. Next item is the consent docket to receive the sand mining, oil and gas, and the river corridor events update. Then moved and seconded. Anybody have any corrections, additions, questions on those? Please record your vote. It's approved unanimously. Next item is the primary agenda items, which is received the Riverfront Redevelopment Authority unaudited financial statements. Anybody have any questions on those?
Move approval.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Record your vote. It's approved unanimously. Next item is to receive the Riverfront Authority annual financial report, fiscal year ending June 30th, 2010. I had a couple questions on it. On the BKD section, page 7. Just a question. On the sand mining operations, and Pat, I'm not sure if you need to answer this, or Couch, or who, it showed a pretty good decrease sand mining. Is that because the current sand mining with the leasee is running out of sand in that and they're moving to another location, or is it just the economic time, and what's the trend look like for this year?
A portion of that had to do with the economic times and activity in the area. They also went through several months where the contractor leasee was doing some re-engineering, retooling on site. Going forward, given the amount of work that we see wrapping up Interstate 40 and some other pretty significant projects, I would think that the trend will be back into the positive.
Back up closer to where it was in 2009, you think?
I would think comfortably, yes.
Okay.
The market pricing is actually inching up slightly, which helps, so it's really a question of volume. And I think they've made some changes on site that will help them be more productive and have more product out. And it looks like there's plenty of home for the product with the work we see down the road, the construction backlog that we see.
Yep.
Ron, on that same page above that under program expenses, professional services are down 150 and other service and charges are up 150. Is that just reclassification?
It's reclassification.
Yeah, I had that same question on the next page. Under what does it look like professional? Now, does that also include all the engineering services? Is that where you would go, Don? If you look on page 9, it's the same question that I believe Ken had, or Wayne, I'm sure, that Wayne had. Yeah, went from 231 to 159 this year.
That would have been the delta, would have been professional services, including A&E, this year in 2010.
What's it look like for next year? Is the only project coming up probably, Don, the canal extension? So it wouldn't affect this year?
Wouldn't come through these books.
So it's probably just going to be mainly yours and a few other things like that? Okay.
My contract, the audit contract are the two that are there pretty much every year.
And what was the switch in the 135 or so you said?
I'd have to defer to our accounting staff to determine exactly why that change was made. I suspect had something to do with their internal practices and what made more sense following their lead. But do you have any observations on that?
I really don't know what that. I really don't know what that change is. I'm Roger Coe. I'm from the Accounting Services Division, so I would have to look that up and
We'll bring a report back next month explaining the differences.
I didn't need a report, just an answer is fine. I'm just curious, and I think Wayne the same way. There was a big switch there. Okay, thank you. That's the only questions I had in the audit. Do you have anybody else have anything on the audit? Need a motion to receive, please.
Move.
Okay, move second. Record your vote. It's approved unanimously. Item C is receive the quarterly river cruiser update. Jeannie?
Hi, good afternoon. Well, as the 2010 calendar season comes to a close, staff is gearing up for the 2011 season. Maintaining efficiencies and developing new attractions to the service are our priority. Can't see what you're saying, so I'll guess you're on the next slide. Ridership efficiency is up from an average of 10.5 riders per trip in 2009 to 14.23 in 2010, or a 35.5% increase. This efficiency keeps our costs down while maintaining adequate service. The final numbers for the calendar year will be presented at our next Oklahoma River Cruises update. As you can see in the ridership report in your packet, charters are up this year from 104 in 2009 to 133 in 2010. That's a 28% increase, which staff attributes to improvements in the efficiency of the booking process and the efforts of our senior account manager, Tyler Dixon. Already, Oklahoma River Cruises has 5 charters booked in 2011 involving 6 of our river cruisers, many of them in January. This canopy was donated to CATPA for Meridian Landing by OKC Events and USA Shade Company. It's a welcome amenity for passengers waiting to board the river cruisers. It is visible from Southwest 15th Street, which also helps customers locate our landing. The new Public Works maintenance facility at Exchange Avenue is well under construction. The cove was drained temporarily to allow the construction of the docking slips. You can see the bases of the docking slips there. Re-impoundment from groundwater has brought the cove to approximately 2 feet below our operating level. Once the coffer dam is removed, full impoundment will be completed and the river cruisers will be returned to their moorings. Staff is pleased that the boats will be at the facility where they can be plugged into shore power. This saves on the life of our generators and prevents freezing of the river cruisers. Ridership on the free downtown and December Sunday cruises is going very strong. Last Sunday, some passengers waited as long as an hour to take their ride. This year, as opposed to last year, we did not have to turn away any riders. We were able to accommodate everyone that came down. Also this year, the Oklahoma River Cruises staff is selling concessions in the plaza for the waiting passengers. Concession sales help defray the costs of the crew and the fuel for us to be able to participate in this event. The participation increases awareness of the service and tempts riders to return in the spring for a trip through the locks to one of our other landings. The holiday boat parade was well attended despite the cold weather in the Big 12 championship game that night. The Director of Development took the opportunity to tell attendees about the Oklahoma River, the history, and the many projects that are in development. And with that, I'd just like to wish everyone happy holidays and address any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions? Jeannie? Anything? Need a motion then to receive the report? So moved. Then moved and seconded. Record your vote. It's approved unanimously. Receive report of quarterly meeting of the stakeholders group. Pat?
Mr. Chairman and trustees, there is a report in your packet. If there are questions, be happy to address them. Would point out that this is a gathering that is quarterly and seems to be growing in terms of interest. Every meeting we have seems to draw more people. This last one, I think we had 3 trustees represented at the meeting, as well as city staff and others. So very positive indication of the interest level in the river development among those who are the most likely stakeholders, property owners, business owners, as well as others interested. So if there's any questions, be happy to address them. Otherwise, would request that the report be received as submitted.
Anybody have any questions? Pat? Need a motion then? Second. Been moved and seconded. Record your report. It's approved unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Next item is the claims docket. Need a motion on that, please.
Move approval.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Record your vote. It's approved unanimously. Additional items from staff, the director's report. Do you have anything you want to bring out in that particular, Pat?
No, Mr. Chairman. Actually, I think you've hit on a couple of the highlights, one being the River Cruisers Committee and the other being the very successful Devon Energy Holiday Boat Parade. So if there are any questions regarding the report, I'd be happy to address them. Otherwise, would request that the report be received as submitted.
Okay. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Anybody have any questions? Record your vote. It's approved unanimously.
Thank you.
Have any comments by trustees? Mike, you got anything you want to tell us? Not that you have to, but I always know you have something.
Always try to have something. We did get designated last week as the new national training site for the U.S. Rowing's lightweight program, which means more athletes moving to Oklahoma City here in the next few weeks. So that's a great, another great momentum boost. And another announcement will be coming is regarding our role as the education center. So we have a lot of great momentum, and also the Devon Boathouse, as many of you have been to recently, is wrapping up at the end of this month. Will be completely, for the most part, done. So it's looking.
Are we talking about the month of December or January?
Yeah, I'm talking about this month.
Yeah, we're about the end of the month then.
Yeah.
Has everybody been to it? It's really nice. It's really a nice facility, like all of them are. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Funny, because I've been to 3 events that people have rented that for.
Have you?
And they're not even finished yet. I mean,
Yeah.
you're holding your event and they're still working on it. So the interest in that and the demand for it is probably going to be very great.
Yeah. What's the UCOs? Are they working on plans now?
They are. They're working on fundraising as we speak, and University of Oklahoma, they actually toured the Devon Boathouse last week, so there's progress being made there as well.
Okay, good. Any questions, Mike? Any other citizens? Questions? Staff? Nothing else, and we're adjourned. Thank you.